This motor has made it one run for probably about a half hour to an hour, just highway cruising. Let's just say that's not factory. Rings are still there. There ain't no movement. Let's just say the exhaust valve has failed the leak down test. After we put on a beautiful $50 adapter, now that we have an intake that's this big, so this is for a 420cc. Oh, is it gonna fit? Guess what? I did my research. The only thing that looks to be a little bit different is this hole right here. But everything lines up. Everything. So I'll see what a 420cc gasket looks like, because could I reuse this? Yeah, but I don't want to. It's gonna open this hole up a little more, but it's fine. But yeah, it fits so well. It's just yeah. And that's 301 right there with a 420 non-Hemi head. Will this fit? Yup, dude, that is, and it's not even going to be any different. That's crazy. That is crazy. Look how much bigger the valves are. I'm pretty sure the valves got to be bigger. Oh yeah. So I'm not gonna get all scientific, but that intake definitely looks bigger. Let's do this one-handed. Something around there. Screw it all up. Yep. Oh yeah. It's not a Hemi head, but let me tell you something. That's a considerably bigger valve. And you got to remember, that's going all the way around. It's like putting a stroker crank. Now let's see the exhaust valve that has. Looks close enough. Oh yeah, look at that. I mean, it's just. I'm really wondering if this is going to start being a thing. 301 with a big block head. Let me tell you, you're starting off 212s are going up to like 260 to 300 cc's. I know this block's heavier, but the reasoning behind it is rotating mass. So that's what we're up against right now. So I'm just thinking, I know a 290cc or 300cc all bored out and everything with that still 212 crank, but I don't know, this may be the new redneck. This setup, big ported head, big camshaft, and I know the kid got the whatchamacallit, they got the ARC flywheel, but they even sell like a mini one. Because this is going to be like a size of a 420cc billet cylinder flywheel, but yeah, I know they sell the smaller one. And what the hell? The casting. Put the electric start. But Yeah, if you could see in there. This is what happens when a motor sits and gets a little water in it. Not much, usually from the exhaust. I've seen it way worse than this. That's decoloration from water going in either the intake and exhaust. This would have happened before all this. Usually sits at the bottom. You know, it goes in and sits at the bottom. So the top, you know, it's got some stuff. So this motor sat somewhere. It was on something. I think he told me a go-kart, which makes sense. Sat outside somewhere, got some water in the exhaust. They couldn't start it, or they got it started just enough to sell it. That was it. And guess what? I've ran way worse. Yeah, I don't smell any oil or anything, but I have motors that I've literally looked like that, but then was solid cup of rust right here. Use sandpaper, got it back to the same surface of here, then just I use this with some lapping compound. When it took a minute for, you know, when it first started, it's gonna take a second, you know, but you know, give it like a half hour, just let it run and see how it smells. Just let it sit at 3,600 RPM and smell it. What does it smell like? It's gonna smell like, if it smells like if you can physically see smoke, it's pretty worn. If you can't smell, if you don't see any smoke, but you smell it and it smells like an old car, guess what? That's the power of what you're gonna get. So an old car got like 80 to 85% of its power, but you know, it's gonna smell like it's eating a little bit of oil, and that's all it's doing. It's eating a little bit of oil, so it's gonna use oil. The power's there, it runs, you know. What the hell? Oh, I was looking at these fins. Look at this. It's not all the way around, dude. Let's see. It wouldn't even run. I literally was spinning the motor over. It had no compression, and as you saw how bad it was just it had no compression. So got the billet rod, put some springs in it. Technically, if you put springs in that other one, you know, it wouldn't have, he didn't want to do it in the first place. You know, he didn't, if we would have put the springs in it, he didn't want to do it, you know, for cost purposes, but it would have, I don't know how long, I don't know how high this would have revved. I think it would have stayed low enough with the revving that it probably would have not hit the valves, but eventually this motor probably would have broken in so hard that, yeah, I would have did it again. But that time, it would have just came to a dead stop. And it would have seemed like because he was like, dude, I didn't even ride this thing more than 30 minutes. I'm like, these valves are not meant to go with the stock springs more past 4,000 RPM. So you hit 45, it's already doing its thing. And once it does it, that's it. You got no chance of hell. Now, this, if it does valve flow, which we are putting the stronger springs, you got more leeway. This is the same RPM with the stock springs that you can go around 4,500, maybe. I don't think it literally just hard valve flows at a certain point. But yeah, what will happen with this is because of how it can, you know, you push it like with this massive carburetor, anything's possible. But if you do valve float it with a non-Hemi, you have the saving grace that you can, when you hear it, you can do something about it. Whereas this, once it happens, it's already too late. You got no shot, and it's already done damage, unfortunately. And you may not even hear it, which that, you know, usually you do though. You don't hear the noise, but you hear the valve flow, and you're not going to hear any noise. It's just like you can't even see any real damage to this. I mean, if you really look, you can see it sticking up, but the amount that this is bent, like, it doesn't even show a mark on here. Like, you could see it's lifted up, but there's no physical, the piston's got the mark because this thing's already done it twice, but you would think, no, you could feel the burr. That's not supposed to be there. They do sell a thing where it goes down, it sits on the cylinder, and you can grind into the piston. That's when you want to use a Hemi head, and the reason for the Hemi head is, I'm pretty sure they did have Hemi pistons and all of their stuff for a real vintage Hemi car, but unfortunately with this, if you could see, the valves are angled, so that means when the air goes in and it opens, it has a better dispersion into the cylinder head. But unfortunately, because they're going at an angle, if it's open just a touch and the piston's coming up and you're valve floating, so your valve float, it just sits there and goes up and down, and it ain't seating anymore. So it's sitting there, it's supposed to be controlled and back up. Unfortunately, it's sticking up, and it's just only up. I don't think I can push these. No, I can't do these by hand. It'll be just hanging up just a touch. That piston comes up and just touches it. That's all it takes. Whereas with this, because they're nearly flat, non-Hemi, the 212, they're completely flat, but these are just tipped just a touch. So, but still, so you really want to look at it like this. So they're still angled, but you can see if this is hung, there's no way I can't push, but if this is hung out, it's still got, focus, it's still got that much room that it could be out before it hits. This, look how, you got no room. And you could see actually the difference between that and the intake. The intake looks like it's more down. So, yeah, I guarantee you, people had a bad experience with these motors. They probably said, we bought it, we put it on a go-kart, and didn't even make it 10 feet. But, yeah. But